Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and on this deep dive, what we're gonna do is Abraham Lincoln. And what we're gonna do is that you just can't even how hard it is to get about Abraham Lincoln. So as I remember going down to DC and I'm looking at the Lincoln Memorial, he really was a stoic figure, but he really was a statue of nature. And when I see this statue of nature, I do see the tree, but I do see the cherry tree and I do see the cherry blossoms and I see how it walks down the path to the mall. And when I see down the path to the mall and when I hear drain the swamp, I see them looking in the mall, in the pool, in the reflection pool. I'm like, this is heinous. This is absolutely heinous. Like, what was it? It's just muck. That's really all it is. But really, there was something happy about this. And this actually came up as like trending news about Abraham Lincoln. This is someone who actually embodied a lot of attunement, a lot of balance, a lot of everything. His communication was so hard and so strong that he could sit in the Oval Office and everyone could hear him. He really didn't have to make an appearance a whole lot of times. He was someone of a fire starter. He was truly a fire sign, but I see a lot more Aquarius in him, and I see a lot more Orion in him, and I see a lot more Pentacle energy, which is really hard. So when I actually see this, when the Queen of Pentacles, he's someone who sat tranquil. He sat well. He was actually someone who was wound up, like he actually had to settle down and settle in all the time. So when I see the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, there was something not prudent that he did that actually caused a pause. And I do see the Civil War, but in reality, there's something of an inhibition that he had, a little bit of a secret that really is hurtful. I'm looking at this as like this was his like cocaine. It really was a tree. It was a fig tree. That's all you need to know. So with that being said, he was someone who was done in. He had multiple ins on him multiple times. And so one of the signs is that he had to make sure that everything was functioning in his body. I hate to say it that way, but in reality, let's confirm the documents. It was a little bit hyper vigilant, but really, he did sit with honor with that King of Wands. What is this tower moment that causes chaos with him? It really was about John Wilkes Booth, but there was something of a precedent. And I'm seeing Johnson, I'm seeing JFK, I do see conspiracy theory, but I also see something of Jefferson and Monticello. What is with Monticello that has to link with Abraham Lincoln? The Six of Swords says there is no takeaway whatsoever, but his wife literally said it was tea. She would drink tea. She was so ritualistic every morning with her staff that she would get up, she would have breakfast, have tea, she would actually report out in her own way and then get ready. If she was interrupted, that was it. It was about balance. So when I see it, I do see the coin. I do see like copyright, something about copyright and Mrs. Lincoln. The Six of Cups goes. This was something that they did not remember back then. It was something of a larger picture. It was a partnership. I do see her talking to France. And when I see France, I do see more Austria. Why Canada? I see her linking through. I see a like a triangle. It's something elemental air, alchemy. So when I see the Six of Wands, there was no fire with it whatsoever that you couldn't even contend whatsoever, could not contend at all. You can't even do it. She was so forgiving, so forgiving. You couldn't even see it coming whatsoever. And she would get emotional like this, Mrs. Lincoln, and she would just storm right off and just start running down the hallway. That's what she's showing me in mediumship. So when we do this, we go, oh my goodness, like, and then all the ladies would be upset for a day. But he also knew how she was. There was something with Chicago. When I do see his museum in Chicago, I do say it was very similar to JFK with the occipital on how he was assassinated, but I also see something of the left parietal to the right parietal, but nothing with the eyes. There was something with his eyes on his deathbed. So, with that being said, what was true? And I do see this as a 2 to 3 part series. What was true that made him stood out, and why is he coming out in the media again? All right. There's no securement. There's a loss of inheritance somewhere. There is deceit in something. With a page of swords, you say, there's no cut or takeaway, but it's gonna come in fast. And I hear flew, it flew. When I see the words in remote viewing, FLEU, that means literally military flies out overnight, no warning. So that is how he's showing me Civil War was. It was agriculture, it was a grow, it was a tree, and I hear DE with a accent mark. I hear it wants to say AT, but it was IE, which means something legal came in, judicial came in, Supreme Court. He is showing me Independence Hall. He does show me the bell, but he's showing me the Rosetta Stone. Something was in the stone, unfulfilled wishes. So let's look at the Rosetta Stone. Why do we need to know this? A steal. That is how old some of these families still are. They go back so hard. There's no steal. Why do we need to know? Let's channel him a little bit better in mediumship. He says, "My girl, I cannot come forward because I can't be done. I can't be DUN. I can't be LUN. I can't be a PUN to be a bay." And that's all he's showing right now. Basically, he's not going to be the butt of the joke. So when I see this, there is securement. It comes in like a thief in the night. There's hidden motives. So I'm just looking out my window for a little bit better scrying. Let me look through my crystal a little bit better. All gone. That literally means war is imminent. So when he had war imminent, he would go uh away at like a turn and pivot, and he would go away a while and he would stare like at the wall, just asking anyone in mediumship who wants to come forward. The stone, the wall, what does he need us to know? There is a railroad, left leaf, dirt road. Be a bay. Be a bay. There's something nasty. It's hidden. It's like a bomb of all meeting, but it's a true. It's a true. This was nasty female energy, but I don't see high priestess or sorceress. Somebody worked their magic like a wizard. The world literally is incomplete. What do you need? He goes, this is grandiose thoughts, truly grandiose thoughts on what they left. It's disgusting. So he was a magician at times. I see him doing this, like with kids, like playful fun, a little bit of cutting of energy. He's showing me the document. He's showing me the book. He's showing me Congress. He's showing me where they have their State of the Union. They're showing me how they open up the books. I hear third page, fourth page, nine page, five page, six page, eight page, rip it up. It was done. It was so bad that night on multiple terms, political terms of presidencies, that rip up that Representative Nancy Pelosi had done was not the first time someone had done that, and especially with New Zealand, where they did haka. So he's showing me a night where it was like that with sipping tea and it was gone. Like everything, all was lost and gone. He goes, actually, physical, innate objects were moved about, and he couldn't see a roux, and that's a mob term of a mix. And when he couldn't see a roux, that means he was hearing was bad. So when someone knows that they're being impeded and they're that sound and source and formidable, that they can't actually hear or see anything coming, that means it's bad. And I still say it today that if I can't see it, I can't hear it, I can't feel it, that means it is bad in your face when you discover it. So, what is it else? Because this is intense, even for me. What else out of this one deck? It was a celebration. It is an ending. Ending. It's a hard ending. I'm seeing Anubis. I'm seeing the Eye of Horus. And I see one rod, someone holding one rod, where yesterday, which was on the 8th, we had two rods. It's a game. It's a game forgotten. It's a racketeering game. But they didn't call it racketeering. It wasn't a stone in the pot. It wasn't granite. It wasn't steel. It's like pyrite. It's yellow. It's something else. It's yellow. It's like a fool's gold. And it dissolves. That's all I can get out. That's all the energy will allow me to get out. All right, let's try another deck. What else do you need to know about this? What is about Abraham Lincoln and JFK? Because that came through as Appalachia in one video. That came out as Roanoke in one video to Cincotig, to where one discussion was those in Virginia was to watch Cincotig and the horse's eyes. There's something wrong with the horse's eyes. That was happening in Salem also. This is creepy as ever. Dishonor, high dishonor. It's a financial offering that was done. It really was something that you couldn't understand. It was on the horizon. I see it plane level. I see it ground level. It was recklessness, though, because we can find it easy. It was in plain sight, in plain view, airplane view. The Five of Swords couldn't even believe what came out of the head of one person. You could hear it so well that it caused financial loss. That Five of Cups goes, uh-uh, no disappointment. There's alleviation. There's monetary balance. There is a message coming in. You must, those who hear on the low or talk on the low, you'll hear a message come through. It's so random on a 2-4. It is not good female energy whatsoever. So when I hear and I see again female energy and male energy as someone that knows about covens, when they practice it, female energy literally feels usually a little softer. They're a little softer, but they can do quite the blow when they need to. Male energy cuts away. It was greed that started it because there is a whole stop to this fiery passion that's coming through. The Nine of Wands goes, no, it was found. It was found. The Nine of Wands is a type of securing of area that comes through, and you say, yes, yes, watch over everything. It's to remain a mystery. And that's all you need to know. So, with that, what about reticence? Because that's coming through. How is that connected? That actually was a conversation with JFK right before he passed away. He just sat there. He loved being on the balcony. He loved sitting in the sun. He loved getting anything you need. And all you need to know is that he was a formidable sound source that he's showing me in mediumship because of World War. And many people who were military and law enforcement were formidable sound sources because of set-ins all the time. So the reason why sometimes we had to do a lot of set-ins is because it was heinous all the time. You never knew what was coming to you or towards you, where you had to have security and securement. The Page of Swords goes to something you had to research and look into, but literally, King of Swords goes law enforcement and military. They have seen it's called it. Like it follows you home. It literally grounds you. It literally does everything. They literally come home with their own devil and demon. And then when it leaves, they themselves are the true devils. They say sometimes they gotta be alone. Yep. All right. Was he at this point that he had to be alone? I hear yes and I hear no, but it was controlled. It was controlled. So we'll do one more deck and we'll have to do a part two. And I do feel all of a sudden the energy of pushing. Okay, Six of Wands. Quite the victory. There's something of a victory that came in. I do see something that he was able to be a little bit psychic. We're trying to still connect that. That is actually a hard block. I'm still seeing the Bermuda Triangle, some sort of Bay of Pigs with Bermuda Triangle with some sort of frequency and hertz and high vibration area at certain times of the year with the earth that causes a type of eruption that we all level up. So with that being said, there's a little bit of unhappiness. You can't even believe it that the Nine of Cups says, holy cow, this energy is so hard that you can't even see it coming. How did we get that? All right, let's look at the Pleiadian Oracle and try to draw one more thing. There's a lot of energy of like dig, dig, dig on Abraham Lincoln. What is all these connections? Why is he coming through so hard that we're having a hard time actually getting through the blocks? All right, creativity. There was something that he did, and it's hilarious. President Lincoln, he did something that was so nasty that's connected to a constellation, the constellation Orion, something that's coming in on the 15th. He literally did astrology where something would come through at a certain point in a time as a trigger that literally a parent figure, he goes, it's a parent, it's a relative, they're healing. There needs to be forgiveness, absolute forgiveness. It is a huge timeline jump. You can't even understand what had happened. So when I look at this and I hear Pakal's tomb, I look at the Museum of Natural Science and History and I say, go for it. Just go for it. Run the math, run the numbers, and actually just do it because you actually are highly guarded. You're really good. You're sound. Whatever needs to come through. And that's what he wants to hear in mediumship. That's what he wants to hear in mediumship, that people understand that it's okay to go forward. So when I see this and I see service, I do see military, obviously, but this universal heart, I'm seeing Abraham Lincoln with his wife with a rose and the cup of tea to the green leaf. He like did this magic trick of a loop-de-loo to guide something through. You can't even understand it. Lightning Boy literally means when I saw that statue collapse in Syria, I'm like, this is like the bomb of all bombs. It really was planted in September, and that's all you need to know. So with that being said, I definitely feel end now and we'll talk more on how this is so connected. But that is how magic is that it is so hard to connect that it gets this big in your face surprise. And then who would have thought that President Abraham Lincoln was a little bit of a magician? So with that being said, any questions or concerns, go ahead, leave a comment or leave me an email and we'll talk to you soon.